Yes, welcome to another huge episode of All In. We're back. I think it's about week 3 or 4 now. I've lost count. Dean Watling from deanwatling.com. Lewis Willoughby from Sky Racing. Good afternoon, gents. Louis, kick off with you. How are you, mate?
Yes, good all. What a great weekend it was. Three Group 1s in Melbourne and some pretty big Group 2s from Sydney, which is what we said it would be, like lead-ins to Group 1s. Stories down in Melbourne were great, weren't they? So you've got an absolute champion who just keeps on winning, and you can poke holes at the fields he's beating, but the fact of the matter is I think they're running scared from him. No one wants to line up against Group 1, and I speak of Mr. Brightside. Then you've got a great story out of Adelaide with Q-Man coming off a listed win and benchmark races last preparation. Shows you that anyone can win a Group 1 if you just get lucky on the day and a few things fall into place. And you've got a good horse as well. And then the Blue Diamond, those previews and preludes keep standing up for the form lines down there. But as I'm sure maybe Dino will touch on in horses to follow, etc., the second horse, Lady of Camelot, was massive in defeat.
Gee whiz, Louis, you haven't missed. You reckon that anyone can win a Group 1 now, and they're all running scared of Mr. Brightside is betting nothing. So good to see you're on the front foot nice and early on a Monday afternoon. And Dean Watling, welcome aboard. You've been pretty keen about a certain form line that got the chocolates again.
Yeah, it did actually. We speak about the Blue Diamond. I'm massive on historical setups, especially for 2-year-olds, just because we don't know a lot. And I think the weekend showed it again, in the sense of they're not really exposed until they get to their grand finals. In a slipper or a diamond, you go through the lead-ups and they tend to be small sit and sprint races. But yeah, that makes it 20 of the last 24 Blue Diamond winners have come through the preludes. That's the fillies and the Colts and Girlies prelude. I think the last 3 or 4 fillies to win it all won the fillies prelude and then went on to win the diamond. So interesting that. But it was good weeks racing. I think it's a bit of flattering for Mr. Brightside in the sense that people are sort of running away from him, Louis. But at the same time, I think it would be getting annoying that they're trying all these tactics to try getting him beat with these leaders out in front, these strong tempos. I think it's flattering, but at the same time, I'd be annoyed if I was the connection. Just run a normal race and he probably beats him by even further. But no, he's going to go down as a champion, no doubt. We have this funny thing in racing where we like to pot and have tall poppy syndrome with good horses. And when they retire, then we start to reflect and finally say, oh, yeah, he was a good horse. So, no, good weekend, but it continues this weekend, Gunnar.
You won't be able to run away for too much longer because there's only so far you can run until you're going to have to meet Fangirl, and she's low flying. She will line up this weekend. So it'll be very, very, very interesting to see if she improves again off what she did. I think Mr. Brightside probably did improve again off what he did. They're both going very, very well. And they'll get their opportunity to meet this autumn, and we'll see who comes out on top. Fangirl did a number on. Yeah, I believe so. Fangirl did a number on Mr. Brightside last time they met up here. Sydney Way going dry deck, probably advantage her. Melbourne Way and anything worse than a soft 6 probably advantage him. But hey, we'll see what we get, see what we dished up. Speaking of a racing tour, a match race, so to speak, we're going to fast forward 2 weeks here. The Canterbury Stakes, the talk is that Think About It is going to be taking on Imperatrice. She's going to come up to Sydney and have a go. Now, all the talk's been how good Imperatrice is. She's the best sprinter in the world. Well, Tab, they don't believe so. They've got a marked second favourite, $2.50, and Think About It, $2.30. Louis, what does Tab know that the punters don't?
Well, the Imperatrice is probably not coming.
Yeah, I don't know. You've thrown me in the hot seat here. I don't even know who else is in the field or what's going on.
Shinzo, Bornos Notches, Hawaii 5-0, Kovalika, and other horses there, but let's just be completely frank. Okay. It's a 2-horse race.
Yes, yeah. If you had to ask me to lean one way or the other, and this is me not fully being around, Think About Its prep yet, I'd have to go watch its trials and go back and have a look at first up runs, blah, blah. I'm probably Team Imperatrice at this stage, but Everest form is great, obviously, and forget the loss at the end of last preparation for Think About It, because it was, it's hard to come off such a massive peak grand final and get bloused by the stablemate and Bella Nipotina. But yeah, as it stands, I'm probably Team Imperatrice, but that's going to be a cracker if they do line up. And to be fair, you can't discount horses like Hawaii 5-0 and a few others who will make that a good race.
Yep, love it, and it will be very interesting. Let's hope we do get that clash there, Dino. My one concern think about it is they talk about getting it out to a mile this preparation, which will be interesting how the horse is first up, but probably more interesting how he is second up.
Yeah, I think he probably needed the run. He was still really good in the spring prior to the winning the Everest. It'll be fascinating to see. Guessing Peritrees will probably be third up into that clash where he'll be first up. So that will play a big part. And like Louis mentioned, that's going to be massive. I hope it happens. It reminds me a little bit of the Dubai Honor versus Animo setup where or a Wink / a Hartnell sort of setup. We love those clashes and we often gravitate. But hopefully we see it. It will be good for racing.
Yeah, it's super because it's going to be a huge sort of few months of racing, and we need these clashes. I think it brings the best out in the game. If you just continue to have these $1.30 favourites go around, it can get a little bit monotonous. And we do have a few of those this week, but let's kick off. And before we do kick off, lads, full credit. So Tom Cruising got the job done at Wyong on a Thursday, not a Tuesday. The meeting got moved. Ostmar got the job down at Sandown, and so did Lost. So the 3 midweek best lobbed. Hopefully someone was stupid enough to take the all up.
I was going to say.
And you would have had a complete... No, not me either. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not smart enough for that.
No, absolutely. I did back Osmar. Sorry, Lou. Dean, I didn't back Lost, but...
all good, mate. 1-0 Lou.
Well done. Righto, lads. The Australian Guineas looks a really, really good edition of this race. 1,600 metres down at Flemington on Saturday. Riff Rocket, Craig Williams, King Colorado, Mark Zara, V8, Damian Lane. I'm surprised they're going to the mile, but they are. Zip Away, Stevie Parnham, Southport Tycoon, Jamie Carr, Snow Patrol, Blake Shin. Let's have a look at the market. Riff Rocket, $2.80, King Colorado, $6. Militarized, not too sure about that. $6, V8, $8 for Dad, $11. Louis, why don't you kick us off with the Australian Guineas?
Yep. So the CS Hayes is the good form line into this, and that was taken out by Riff Rocket really impressively. And my first point I think I need to make is, it looks a pretty obvious pick here in the race, in a sense of blew them away in that race. I thought King Colorado had every chance with it and couldn't beat it. So when you dissect that, you go, well, if it shows up here and runs a similar race and improves a little bit, second or third up, whatever it is, then look, probably hard to beat. And the other form lines, I'm not too sure I want to be with. The one I do want to spec at a price at this stage, a good little, trying to find something double figures because it is the all-in show. Cap Ferrar, $26 and $6.88 a place. Don't know why it's so exact, but make it that what you will. I thought was pretty good in that CS Hayes behind Riff. That was over 1,400 metres. Second up out to 1,600 metres is really suitable. If you go and look at the sectionals of that race, Cap Ferrar and Riff Rocket ran very, very similar closing splits. So if Cap Ferrar is able to sit closer to Riff Rocket somehow in the run, you know that Cap Ferrar can almost match it with Riff Rocket with late sectionals. So run dependent. I thought it wasn't a bad play at $26 and $6.90. Let's call it each way. Definitely a 1x3 kind of operation. But yeah, I don't know why it was such big odds. Another one I'll quickly mention is Sunsets, whose price is $51. First up, was looking at some trials. I thought it won the latest trial it had really nicely. And if you go back to the last prep, it beat Riff Rocket at some stage on their way to the Group 1 over 2,600 metres. So there's a case to say that maybe it shouldn't be $51. So both of those I could definitely entertain, more place, bit of win. But look, if Riff Rocket's able to reproduce that with an economical run and good map position over others, it'd have to be hard to beat.
Yeah, it's
I agree,
interesting,
Lou.
isn't it? Sorry, go, Dino.
Yeah, I was going to say, I agree. My question for you, Gano, was militarized. Is that yay or nay going here?
I don't think so. I'm just working off the racing.com
article
I'm guessing that Trav Noonan does. I can't see it. So that's why I had a question mark. I think it's I think looking at Randwick Guineas, so that was what was suggested earlier in its preparation. So we can go with that.
Yep, sweet. No, what do you have to say, Gano?
Yeah, I just had a question for you, Dino. Tannhauser was a horse that you didn't mind first up. Do you think it can improve here? It's a big price.
Yep, I think it can. I think Louis makes a really good case here. I think summarising the market now, it's really gravitated towards the win of Riff Rocket last start, and it's pretty much discounted everything else. I think Riff Rocket might be the best horse in the race and the winner, but I can't possibly chime into that price. I think you'll get better on race day, and you'll know the map, you'll know the setup. So I like Louis' thinking. I think the horses you can have a little spec on each way in the futures market. Zip Away was really good. Last start off the bit, a long way out, and still closed off really well behind Snow Patrol. I think 1,600 metres reads well, and I would be more than happy to have a little spec on Tannhauser. Probably goes out of the screen if you want to replay, but was working well to the line. I don't think there's much between all these 3-year-olds, so I can't have one $51 and one $280. Gonna.
Yep, absolutely. If you've got a screen as big as yours, no horse would ever go
exactly.
out. But Riff Rocket was just so impressive, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him start sort of closer to $2.50. But that's going to create a betting opportunity for King Colorado. I'm not going to bet at the moment because the prices are there. But the way I thought this would play, and sometimes you can overplay your hand, and I could get this completely wrong, but I thought that Riff Rocket was so enormous first up that we could see a slightly flat run second up. I'm pretty sure.
Which is common from the stable.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the horse has done similar in the past. But the stable definitely
flat
has.
run. He had that really big win at Flemington, and I think they went to Caulfield and absolutely crawled, and he couldn't sit and sprint with him. So, But yeah, the stable. Fangirl's pretty much very similar to his setup. We saw Zugotcha on the weekend. A lot of Wallace horses really go good fresh, and they have that, and the stats back it up.
Yep. So my thinking was King Colorado, was a little flat, just didn't quite have that turn of foot second up. Maybe they could ride a little closer here, third up, and you might get a price. So I'll be with King Colorado. I think you get a better price. No all-in plays for me, but King Colorado will probably be the horse I'm most keen on come Saturday. That's good though, lads. We've sort of covered the market there, so shouldn't have any excuses. Just scrolling through to the tab, Very Elegant Stakes, Fangirl, $1.50, Buckaroo, $8, Think It Over, $8, Just Fine, $11. Dino, can anything beat Fangirl?
Well, I think you're relying on Fangirl not to turn up to bet into the market, which I don't tend to like to do. I think she just wins. I think Randwick's her go. J-Mac will be on. It's a perfect recipe. I think the only thing that probably beats her is if the track's just a savage leader's bias. Am I going to chime into the price? No, that's not my style of bet, especially with a horse that gets back and runs on. I think I need $2 plus for that sort of setup. Do we try to find money outside of that? I think it's been becoming a little bit of a theme, especially with Mr. Brightside races. You look for something to place. I would prefer to take $2 about Think It Over to place than I would about anything else in this race. Thought he was pretty good first up. They went pretty hard. He stuck on well, found the line. Doesn't matter what Barry he draws, he's going to be up on speed in the run. I thought him as a $2 place bet, Lou, was probably the way I'd prefer to play it over $1.50 for Fangirl.
Yep, completely agree. There's a very likely scenario that Fangirl goes through this entire preparation unbeaten. But in saying that, $1.50 doesn't really get the juices flowing. And as you mentioned, you've got to kind of butter up at that price to get a return, and you're taking that about a horse who's going to be back in the field. And he's obviously better than them, but I don't know, there's things that can go wrong. So if you're $2 a place, Think It Over, I'll go $2 a place on Buckaroo, who was unlucky in that race. Can it turn the tables? I very, very highly doubt it. I thought its trials were average, but people were saying its trials were good, and I'm no trial guy, so I'll go with the other people on that. And the run was all right, got held up badly and worked home well. So I don't mind it a place at $2, but you just want to see Fangirl come out and do it again. And then, as we mentioned off the top, that sets up a pretty juicy clash, whether it be maybe in an All-Star Mile, or I don't think it's going there because it's going to focus on the Queen Elizabeth, which is when Mr. Brightside may come up to join it. So that's kind of what we look forward to with these horses, I think.
Yep, nominations are extended in that race as well. But given that they only paid a tenth there, the $8,000, I can't imagine anyone will be chiming in with a late nomination. But gee, it's a thin race, but it's similar to what we see down in Melbourne. They're running scared, and they're not going to really turn up. I think you hit the nail on the head, Dean. I think It Over is just a fantastic place bet. He'll be running top 3, Think It Over, and that's the way I will be playing it in the all-in markets, and maybe just use that as a sort of a standalone leg, and then we can multi a few in as we go. Now, we are at Randwick. That race, of course, is at Randwick, and the rail is a true position. dry weather all week. I don't think it'll be as down the middle as it has been in the past because I think it's going to be very, very dry deck come Saturday. But be interesting to see how. I think Fangirl still possesses the good enough turn of foot to overcome any potential bias. The Surround Stakes, this is an absolute cracker. Lou will kick off with you. Learning to Fly $3.50, Kiyomochi $6, Tis Invincible $6, Roll on High $8, Dino's favourite Dance, the Macarena $11, Tropical Squall $11, and Longer the Rest.
Well, if it's Dino's favourite, it's going to have to be my favourite too. I want to have a bet on this at $11. Macarena, coming through the Caballos form line. Group 3 Eskimo Prince was really good running second there, and that form has well and truly been franked on Saturday with Celestial Legend. Last preparation, Macarena, second up at this stage, was a good maiden winner running time, and just everything points to going to a new level here. It's a big jump into a Group 1, but finds its own age and sex. So if you're gonna try and nab one, right, this is a great place to start. And yeah, that's basically it. I want to have a bet on it, and I'm not sure if it's going to make the field. Steffi Magnetica. I don't know if you guys are any different, but if it does, at $26, it's a great one because if you're going to go with that light fingers form and you want something at a price compared to a few at the top. That's the one I think is good odds, but it's just the making the field question mark that I have because it wasn't in that article by Travon.com, so not sure. But if it does, Macarena and Steffi Magnetica are two all-in plays for me at Randwick in the Surround.
There's a couple on this market here, Dean, that are going to go to the English Sprint, I believe. I think Estrella might be one of them. For sure.
That's Melbourne.
That's at Melbourne. No markets out for that yet. But I wasn't too sure about the purchase of Cabulous, but turns out it's going to lob down there for a $1 million race and probably win that. Start $1.50 favourite and turns to be one of the great purchases of all time. That horse is flying, and so is Bjorn Baker. So full credit to everyone that got involved there. That's one of the better buys you'll ever see. Wowee. Dino, the Surround Stakes, what are your thoughts?
Yep, I think Louis makes a really good point here in the sense of normally the top end 3-year-olds have the leg up on those sort of horses that are progressing, coming sort of later in their preparations, such as Macarena, Cabulas, etc. But there's not much between them all this year, so you can definitely make a case there. There's no juice in the price Learning to Fly. Gate's massive for her. We saw first up she was probably beaten by the Gate when Komochi won. I will more than likely be betting on her come race day, but I won't be chiming in all in. The ones I want to have a bet on all in would definitely be Steffi Magnetica, who was outstanding, better than Tis Invincible, probably the run of the race in the light fingers behind the winner and the second horse. And the other one I want to bet on is Mumbai Muse. Was really well backed, pulled up with no issue, but was pulled out of the race because Tommy Berry's worried about the stride. Has been fine since, and we'll line up here looking at the Stewards report. Michael Freeman suggested the filly's been good in track work, etc. since. So I think the mark will take a set against purely because it was pulled up. So there has to be a little bit of a betting edge there. So they're probably the two, Gano. But come race day, I think I'll be backing Learning to Fly.
If Mumbai Muse wins, I think that'll be the end of me.
You have to have something on.
That'll be the end of me. Just stop. If he's just stopped riding just because he didn't like, and the horse is flying. I just don't know what I'd do.
I would like to see a trial.
Could be a bad afternoon for me.
I'm not sure if it has to trial this week or not. I haven't looked that far into it. But yeah, they did all the tests, everything, and Michael Freeman suggested that it's been flying at track work since. So.
Yeah, what I will say about Macarena, I've got no real opinion on the race until I see barriers. I think that's going to be everything. But Macarena was probably ridden far too conservatively last start. But this time around, it might actually suit. I just hope they don't flip the script and go, we were too conservative last time, and they go forward, because I don't think that's going to work out that well. There's more speed in this race. If they ride it the same way with a rail and true position, I think they'll get a better outcome, Lou. So Macarena the place is not too bad.
Have we got a tip from you yet, Gannon? You're getting splitters, Brad. I think just passed every race we're talking about.
I just tipped Macarena the place, Lou.
You just You at the start said I got no real opinion on the race, and I won't be betting in the all-in market.
Yeah, I'm happy to steer the punters into Macarena, Lou.
Got the tip.
Go on.
And I did say think it over the place, but you're a bit moody today. The Roosters get beaten
this weekend, Brad.
Think it over. Think it over. Sorry. Think it over. Gee whiz, mate. The Roosters get beaten in Jersey trial or something. Are you all right?
Unbelievable. Louis off the long run.
But yeah, he's
Stepped
fired
over-
up
he
too because
stepped over the line. It's a no ball.
doesn't like battlers winning Group Ones.
Yeah.
Thinks Mr. Brightside spit soft, and now he's into me.
Oh, I love it. Good.
Nah, too good, Louis. Well, I tell you what, you've walked into an absolute beauty here because this is a horse that you had as a black booker in the Guy Walter Stakes. Alentia $2.40, Duas $3.20, Hinged $4.20, More Secrets $7.50. Louis, kick us off. Alentia, why does it win?
Because it's just better placed than the others at the moment. Duas is coming here first up at 320, is way too short. I thought it was going to be retired personally, but bought by Yulong and they've elected to keep racing. I don't think much of Hinged. And then you go to like More Secrets and Osbred Flirt, who are good, but I'd much rather be with Alentia. So, in saying all that, and nominations have been extended for this, but it could turn out that the 240 about Alentia is actually a pretty good bet given the circumstances. What do you think, Dino?
Yep, I agree. I think you asked to take $2.40 first up. I doubt, class-wise, it's probably a better field. But in the sense of horses ready there to win over 1,400 metres, which we see a lot in these sort of early races, I think it's an outstanding bet. It will be my bet of the weekend, or best all-in play of the weekend for sure. Should have won first up. I think she'll be winning second up. Randwick's a track. I think she's back bigger, better than ever. I think she's a Group 1 horse in the making, and I loved her first up effort. She wins that race with a touch of a better ride, I think, back to the inside, back to the outside. So, really keen here, Lou and Gunnar.
Clearly the best all-in play of the week. Just like stands out like the proverbial. What I'll get you to do while we go through this, lads, is just go to Racing New South Wales and make sure that she's not spelling. We don't want any more of those instances coming up this week. Just make sure that she's good to go and get some confirmation. Are we sure she's going there?
Give me 2 seconds. I'll triple check, but nominations extended, which I don't like because something might lob here and take us. But no, she's active on Riser still. Small field. I think the only other one, maybe a dangerous Barbie's Fox. I heard JD Hayes give that a big push last week on the radio. It's targeted for that race, but Louis makes a great point.
Stay home, JD.
Yeah.
Duas,
Miss Fabergé, More Secrets has been trialling up okay, but even luck, Alentia should win that race and win it easily.
There we go. The boys combine, all three of us on Alentia. I can't imagine that anyone will be against Storm Boy in the Skyline Stakes. He's the top seed of these 2-year-olds heading towards a gold sleeper. Is $1.30. There's no way you could bet here. But there is a play. I'll kick you off. Duvana, the place, $2.75. This horse has plenty of talent. I think it'll be very well suited in what will most likely be a fast enough run race. I don't think it'll be along the inside this time around, unless, unfortunately, draws barrier 1. If it doesn't, it'll be down the middle of the track and it'll be giving a big sight, Dino.
It's drawing gate 1 for sure right now.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this.
It'll still run a place.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what Bruce can do. Comes out of the race. Fearless was pretty good in a Blue Diamond, so excited to see how that form does. But it's getting to the stage where Stormboy's got such a big hype on him. I might even venture out to Rosehill just to watch him run around on the weekend. No betting in the race for me.
Go to Randwick, mate.
Yeah, Randwick, sorry, to watch him run around.
You'll be lively out at Rosehill, mate.
Might put the for sale sign up while I'm there.
Good.
This will be the last time we've seen before the Slipper 2. This is the Skyline straight to the Slipper. So interesting to see where he's at. But his trial, I don't know if you've seen the tick over trial. They don't trial much better than that. So fascinated to see what he does. And hopefully we've got an absolute jet on our hands. I think racing needs a pin-up horse at the moment.
Beautiful. Louis?
No, nothing. I'll stick to the Sweet Embrace.
Well, there you go. Absolutely super. Sweet Embrace. Louis there. Nice little segue. Manal $2.80. Castagna $4. Two Dun Lizzie $4.50. And it comes out of the Magic Millions maiden Two Dun Lizzie from memory. But won pretty well. Chateau Miraval. Extreme Diva. Horse that's been going okay of late as well. Looks a decent enough price. I'll kick off. I thought Manal was a horse to follow. And I think it'll be very, very well placed here. So I don't think they'll be beating Manal. It looks to be low flying. I think Extreme Diva could be a place bet around the $3.80. Louis?
Yep, I'm going to go Castagna. So I was looking at this and they've all got form around each other. Manal, Wavebreaker, Extreme Diva, Fly. They either come out of one or of two races in the Widden, which Manal ran second in going past Wavebreaker, etc. And then they went to the Lonhro after that, I think a few of them, where the Anthony Cummings horse ran past Fly etc. I don't know. I thought they got pumped by Lady of Camelot, who then franked that form in the Blue Diamond, but there wasn't. Okay, Manal went past them on the line, but I just didn't think there was much to them. And then you go and watch Castagna's different form line behind Switzerland on debut, which has been franked, and then ran really big time in sectionals to win last start from well back in the field. Really wanted to find the line to win third up, and it's just the horse that it hasn't been around all the races that the others have. So, yeah, I really wasn't keen on the others, and I'm really keen on Castagna, Dino.
Yeah, I think it's it looks like to me a 2-horse race on paper. I think the way this track's going to play, it's probably going to suit both of them. They'll be able to run on. I love the run of Manal first up. Got to a horrible spot. Probably got a little bit run off its feet as well, but I loved it. It's late work, 1,100 metres. Now goes to 1,200 metres. I think that's a big tick. Probably shouldn't be this far apart. They probably should be a little bit close. I think race day they will be. I think Gates will settle them out. So there's no bet for me, but I think you've made a really good case for Castagna at the odds. I think it should be shorter as well.
Love it, lads. Good job. Best all in play of the week. I think it's Olencia ×3. Am I right?
Yep, nice and easy.
Sure is.
How good is that? All right, that's pretty much it. There's not many other races going around. Is there anything else that sort of tickled your fancy out wide that we haven't touched on? Obviously, you got that the English Sprint down there at Flemington. Any other races, Lou, that you found before we do midweek best bets?
Just with that English Sprint, when the markets come up, there's 3 horses that I want to take a look at their prices for. Firstly, I want to see what the price difference is between Australia and Lazargo, who both come through that Group 3 Kevin Hayes. Both ran very equal last 200-metre sectionals. So I know there was a good margin between them, and Australia was quite soft winning on the line. But if there is a big price difference, I'd be kind of happy to have a spec on Lazargo to see if it could turn the tables. And the other one I want to see what price it is Peace Treaty for the Price and Kent Junior team. First up, it'll be into this. It had a really good jump out. Go back. I don't know, it was maybe 6 or so weeks ago in a Vobis Gold carrot race at Moonee Valley. It bolted in, like just absolutely spaced them after leading, and the time was good. So I'm keen to see prices because it could be a good race to bet into. If Australia's too short and there's a good quite on offer for Lazargo and Peace Treaty, I'd be happy to have a nibble at those. Obviously, Caballos might be short in that market and perhaps deservedly so. But yeah, I don't know. There's some specs in there, I think.
Super stuff. Give us your midweek best bets, fellas.
You go, Dino.
I'll kick us off. Oh, I haven't had a chance to look at Wednesday. Good meeting though, Rose Hill. Big meeting. But race 2 tomorrow, Scone Zardonics, I think was really good first up. Winner. Second up, led too quickly back to 900 metres. Race Fitness Bullock on. I think that is a great bet around $2.09. I think he'll start probably 2.20 in that race, Lou. So Scone Tuesday, race 2, number 3, Zardonics, I think. It's a pronunciation.
Beauty. I'm going to go to Rose Hill on Wednesday, and race 6, number 4, Lavero, was a first up winner at Canterbury for the Gerald Ryan Sterling Alexiou team. It's been back to the trial since then, 19th of Jan. So that was first up, that win, and I don't know if maybe there's been a little niggling issue or something since why they've taken time to get back to the races. It's had to tick over trial at Rose Hill. Wasn't asked for anything behind Remark there. If it runs anything like it did first up at Canterbury, I think it can win that race, albeit it's a good little race. The 6th, number 4, Lavero. I might have said 2 earlier. I mean 4. Race 6, number 4.
Happy days. Race 2, number 10, Suspect. Was around $15 at Hawkesbury. Got absolutely flogged by Bonita Queen. She's a good horse. She's a really, really good horse, and I think she'll be of listed grade. Louis is about to lose his mind here. This is the horse that Louis got offered a few shares in and refused to get involved in, unfortunately for him. But Suspect draws barrier.
Enough money, I can't afford
it. Draws barrier 6. We'll go forward, give a huge sight out to 1,200 metres. This horse will be probably better over 1,400 metres, but we'll give a huge sight. And I think you'll get close to $10, Lou. So I think it'll be.
You'll be on course, Gano?
Good bet. I will be on course if you're there. If you're one of the 8 other patrons that will be on course, come say good day.
I'll be there on Saturday, Rose Hill.
yeah. I'll wait.
Not Wednesday though.
Yeah, too good. Lads, absolute ball. Had good fun as always. Punters, what you do, let us know which race you want Dino and I to preview this Saturday. We're going to do a preview. We're going to do either the Australian Guineas or another race of your choice. Put it in the comments. Let us know what you want. Louis?
Highway Handicap.
Highway Handicap. Let's do that. Might be midway.
Louis,
you never know.
Louis would be a part of it, but the budget doesn't stretch that far upon
Yeah.
us. So it's just me and Gano for a Thursday.
Is what it is.
So good. TheGreatTipOff.com. Make sure you go and subscribe. You'll be able to get all this when it lands. Lewis Willoughby, catch him on the morning line every morning from 9 a.m.
Yes. Hey, we'll be speaking to Mitch Beer Wednesday morning, by the way. Might give you a chance to tune in for the very first time, Gano, which would be nice to have you on board.
debut.
But yeah, I'll ask him and I'll tell him that you've been tipping it up on this show. I'm sure he'll love that.
Oh, he'll be pumped. Thanks for that. That's great. Bit more pressure like he needs it. Add Dean Watling, deanwatling.com. That's where you get all your stuff. TheGreatTipOff.com. Search me, get in, you get mine. Thanks, lads. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah.